You clearly couldn't bear to spend money on food or drinks. You even managed to save a little money. But you ended up transmigrating into a loser. And now you're about to sell your two sisters-in-law right at the start. Plus, creditors are blocking your door, demanding their money. Facing three big guys, I just ran for it. Everyone thought I was a coward. My two sisters-in-law were completely hopeless too. But the next second, I showed up holding a kitchen knife. I'm a modern guy, how would I know how to fight? But a tough guy fears a crazy one. And a crazy one fears the one who won't value his life. Tonight, I'm going to show them what a real lunatic is. Splitting headache. In my ears, two girls are arguing. Like two mosquitoes buzzing inside my head. Xiaowan, why are you even caring about him? Just let him stay sick. Second sister, he's our brother-in-law after all. Did he remember he was our brother-in-law when he hit us? The last bit of money we had. You spent all of it on his medicine. You struggle to open your eyes. Your vision is blurry. You can only make out two wavering figures by the bed. Then a gentle voice leans in close to your ear. Brother-in-law, this will be bitter. Hang in there. A spoon touches your lips. Brother-in-law, who are you calling? Your mouth opens involuntarily. A liquid as bitter as bile slides down your throat. Ooh, that extreme bitterness hits you like a punch, instantly snapping you wide awake. You quickly roll over toward the side of the bed. Brown medicinal liquid mixed with saliva spurts out of your mouth and nose. Absolutely miserable. Cough dash, cough dash. Oh my god. What the hell is this? It's so bitter that you're coughing your lungs out. Feels like your guts could be shaken loose. The girl at the bedside gets so scared her hand shakes. She quickly puts down the bowl. Clumsily starts patting you on the back. Her voice is trembling. Be our brother-in-law, I'm sorry. I fed you too fast. You prop yourself up and kneel on the bed. Your gaze sweeps over this shabby room. A broken wooden table. And a long bench, that's all this house owns. The bedboard creaks beneath you as you sit up, letting out an ominous groan. Sounds like it'll fall apart any moment. On the table, a stub of a pinky-sized candle is the only source of light, casting your shadow on the mottled earthen wall, twisted and distorted. Just a bit ago, you were on your way home from a party. Then, a car accident. Fragments of memory wash over your mind like a tide. Li Changshan has transmigrated, arriving in the body of a man with the same name in ancient times. Your gaze lands on the girl beside you. By candlelight, her little face looks ghostly pale. Her clear eyes are full of fear and anxiety. Brother-in-law Xiaowan was wrong. It's all my fault. Shen Xiaowan is trembling all over from your gaze. She jumps to her feet, head lowered, gripping her clothes tightly, making her already thin blouse stretch taut, outlining a graceful shape that doesn't match her frail frame. Tears are streaming down unchecked. She chokes on her words. When my older sister left, she told me to take care of you. I can't even feed you medicine right. And just then, another figure moves. Shen Hongtang, your second sister-in-law. Worry flashes in her eyes for just a second. Then it's instantly covered by icy coldness. She goes behind the door, grabs a willow branch, and heads straight over to you, forcing it into your hand roughly. Go ahead, hit us. She turns away, her lips pressed so tight they're white, her voice filled with desperate defiance. Punish us both. Then you'll be satisfied. You won't even need to pay the headcount tax anymore. You look down at the willow branch in your hand, and at Shen Hongtang's exposed arm, all covered in red welts, exactly matching in size. Not from you, but from this body's original owner. Lashed her just 2 days ago. Damn it, you curse inwardly, judging this jerk 1,000 times over. Watching the two sisters trembling, huddled together, you sigh in frustration. Then smack the willow branch down on the floor. I'm not going to hit you anymore. Shen Hongtang and Shen Xiaowan freeze in shock, looking at you in utter disbelief. Usually, even if they just speak a little louder, that would earn them a beating. Today you choked so badly, and yet you didn't lift a hand. Brother-in-law, you're still not well yet. The doctor said. Shen Shawan timidly lifts the bowl, carefully scoops a spoonful, gently blows to cool it at her pink lips, then holds it up to your mouth. You get fed mouthful by mouthful just like that. Her movements are so gentle and so cautious. She doesn't dare meet your eyes the whole time, her long lashes fluttering from nerves. By the time the bowl is empty, the atmosphere is more suffocating than ever. Shen Hongtang glares at you intently. She takes a deep breath, like she's made some kind of decision. Suddenly kneels hard right in front of you. Say it, what are you plotting this time? Her words cut like knives. You saved my big sister back then. We were grateful to you. Before she died, she told us to take care of you. We haven't dared forget. But the other day we used our last bit of money to buy you food. And you just flipped the table in anger, claiming we made you lose money for gambling. I know you've been wanting to sell us to the theater troupe. She looks up, her stubborn face full of both pleading and resolve. I'm begging you, just sell me. Leave Shawan out of it. After that, all the money I earn at the theater will go to you. Just be a little nicer to Shawan. Please. The moment Shen Shawan hears that, her face turns ghostly white. She grabs your sleeve and clings to you, crying and begging, don't sell us. Sister and I will start working to make money for you tomorrow. Just please don't send us to a place like that. One is defiant, the other pleading. You look at them, and suddenly your anger flares up. But not at them. At the rotten former owner of this body who's long dead now. I was the one who behaved badly before. The moment you start speaking, both girls abruptly stop crying, like someone's hit pause on them. They stare at you stunned, like they've heard something impossible. You look at the skepticism in their eyes, and you realize the reputation of this body's former owner is already bankrupt. Saying more is useless. I promise I'll treat you both well from now on. I'll give you a good life. Those words are like a pebble dropped in their hearts, rippling out waves of emotion. They stay quiet, but their eyes grow redder and redder. But just then, in the dead silence, the courtyard gate is kicked open with a bang. The next second, 3 men barge in cursing. The yellow-toothed ruffian in front glares right at Li Changsheng. That debt you ran up at the gambling parlor 7 days ago. Time to pay back, isn't it? Shen Hongtang whips around to glare at you, shaking with anger. Brother-in-law, you went gambling again. She was just disappointed before. Now she's in total despair. She sneers and twists her mouth. The tears fall silently down her face. So this is what you called better days. You were watching that loafer named Liu San. Your memories are a bit scrambled. I asked you if you ever bought on credit. Liu San grinned mischievously. He pulled a crumpled piece of hemp paper from his chest. With a flourish, he spread it out in front of you. He glared, clearly trying to catch you lying. You leaned in for a closer look. Your pupils suddenly contracted. The yellow paper and black writing were crystal clear. Li Changsheng owes Liu San 2 taels of silver on credit. Payment due in 10 days. If he cannot repay, then his 2 sisters-in-law Shen Hongtang and Shen Shawan will be used as collateral. Shen Hongtang was so angry she was at a loss for words. Her hand shook as she pointed at you.
He actually used them to pay off his debt.
2 taels of silver. That's a full 2,000 copper coins. Even if the 2 sisters worked non-stop for a whole year without eating or drinking, they might not be able to save that much. What a scoundrel. You cursed at him in your heart again. He's not even human. Liu San looked at you with contempt. He put away the IOU. Your sorry excuse for a family wouldn't even sell for 2 taels. If you don't have any money, we'll just take your 2 sisters-in-law. With a wave of his hand, his buddies moved in. 2 guys behind him instantly grinned wickedly. Like hungry wolves, they lunged at Shen Hongtang and Shen Shawan. Wait, you jumped to your feet. You stared at Liu San. The IOU says payment is due in 10 days. There are still 3 days left. Why are you in such a rush? 3 days, Liu San laughed like it was the funniest thing he'd ever heard.
He kicked over a bench beside him.
Let me give you 300 more days, kid. Do you really think you can get that kind of money? Today I'm just gonna put up with you. This is an insult? You warned him sharply. Liu San just laughed even more arrogantly. Get lost. Go to the magistrate if you want. See if the county lord cares about you. Enough of this nonsense. Take them away, he ordered. A burly man instantly grabbed Shen Hongtang's arm and started dragging her outside. Shen Hongtang struggled desperately, but she just didn't have the strength. In an instant, she was toppled to the ground. Her thin clothes ripped open in the struggle, revealing snow-white skin. Her sister, Shen Shaowan, was grabbed by another loafer and screamed in terror. She cried and begged you for help. Brother-in-law, please save us. Liu San snickered, pointing his finger at your nose. If you dare to stop me today, I'll show you how tough I am. The burly man grabbing Shen Hongtang also glanced back and sneered. If he stops me, he won't be walking out that door. The two girls' desperate cries, mixed with the arrogant laughter of the three loafers, stabbed at your ears like needles. In the next second, you suddenly leaped to your feet. You dodged around Liu San and dashed for the door. Everyone was stunned. The brawny guy at the door didn't even react in time, before you'd sprinted right past him. After a brief stunned silence, the yard erupted in even louder laughter from Liu San and the others. What a clueless coward. He ran off all by himself. Wow, I thought he was about to risk his life. This is hilarious. Shen Hongtang was dragged along the ground, watching your figure disappear through the gate. The last glimmer of hope in her eyes went out for good. Despair overwhelmed her. That was her brother-in-law. A total coward, useless except for acting tough at home. Shen Shaowan was stunned, too. Tears blurred her eyes. All she felt inside was endless disappointment. He really hasn't changed after all. And the two sisters were crudely dragged out of the house. The yard was completely empty. You were nowhere to be seen. Liu San followed behind, smugly saying, Don't worry. Third Master will find you girls a nice place. Blame the brother-in-law who used you as payment for his debt. Just as Shen Hongtang and Shen Shaowan hit rock bottom, almost suffocated by despair, suddenly, an angry roar exploded in the courtyard. Let them go right now. The shout boomed out like thunder. Liu San and his two lackeys jumped in surprise and looked over instinctively. At that moment, everyone was stunned. Li Changshan came charging out of the kitchen, brandishing a gleaming kitchen knife. His face was twisted and ferocious like a wild beast ready to kill. He made a beeline for Liu San. Of course, you had no martial arts skills. You'd never even been in a fight in your former life. Rushing in barehanded would have been suicide. But right now, you had a knife. No matter how tough you are, you're scared of a cleaver. You didn't really have a plan? Just started swinging wildly with all your strength, roaring like a wild animal. There was only one truth you believed in now. The tough fear the crazy fear the ones with nothing to lose. In the eyes of Liu San and the others, you looked completely deranged, like someone willing to die just to take one of them out with you. They had no doubt that if you got close, that cleaver would bury itself in their bones the next instant. Fear instantly overpowered their evil intentions. They immediately let go of Shen Hongtang and Shen Shaowan, releasing them at the exact same moment. The three loafers, forced back by your crazed energy, retreated, and you actually drove them right out of the yard. Li Changshan, you're actually serious. Liu San pointed at you menacingly, but his voice was shaky. Get lost. I'll pay you back when it's due. You pointed the kitchen knife at their faces. Your adrenaline was surging. You felt like you could take down a bull. If you dare go after my sisters-in-law again, I won't mind trading my life for yours. Fine, you win. Liu San gave in completely, backing away while threatening you. The IOU is still with me. When the time's up, if you can't pay, I'll report you to the magistrate. You'll find out what it's like to get flogged. With that, he turned and ran. The other two loafer friends scrambled after him in panic. You watched them disappear into the night, miserable and humiliated. You gave a cold laugh. As soon as you show a knife, even bullies know when to talk reason. Only when you couldn't hear their footsteps anymore did you let out a breath of relief. Your tense body instantly collapsed. A wave of soreness hit you. God, this woman's body is so weak. You made a low complaint. Then turned to look at the sisters sitting on the ground, still in shock. They stared straight at you, their minds buzzing. The person who drove off the village bullies with a kitchen knife was really their clueless sister. And she seemed to do it for them. A rare sense of security wrapped them up in that moment. Are you two okay? You shut the yard gate and walked over to squat in front of them. Only up close did you notice Shen Hongtang's blouse had been torn wide open, revealing her white skin and delicate neck, and even her undershirt's thin strap was showing through. Her stubborn little face, a lingering fear still remained. Shen Shaowan's face was pale from the fright, looking like a startled little rabbit. Brother-in-law is fine. Shen Shaowan was the first to snap back to reality. I'm fine too. Shen Hongtang's voice was trembling slightly. Help them up. Shen Shaowan looked at you in a daze. It was clearly the same familiar face, yet he felt incredibly strange. Go back inside. Take the cleaver back to the kitchen. When you came back out, you saw the two of them standing at the door supporting each other. The moonlight stretched their figures thin and long, making them look pitiful. Once back in the house, you told them to sleep on the bed, while you yourself went to the corner, dragged out a wooden board the size of a door, and prepared to sleep on the floor. This bed originally belonged to them, but the original owner had sold it for gambling money. In your heart, you cursed the 18 generations of ancestors of that irresponsible man once again. Brother-in-law, this won't do. Shen Shaowan got anxious. You're still sick. It's settled. You deliberately put on a stern face. Are you not going to listen to me? The sisters' bodies stiffened, not daring to say more. They could only climb into bed in a daze. After the lights were out in the darkness, neither of the sisters could fall asleep. Sister, Shen Shaowan's voice was like a mosquito's buzz. Do you think brother-in-law has changed for the better? Shen Hongtang remained silent for a long time. She didn't know. That scoundrel from before had also been suddenly kind to them once, only to turn around and sell their belongings. But this time, thinking of how you fought desperately with the cleaver, it seemed completely different. I don't know either. She sighed softly. Go to sleep. Early the next morning, you were woken up by the crowing and barking in the village. After a night's sleep, the grogginess in your body had completely vanished. You walked out of the house and saw your cousin-in-law standing at the kitchen door, talking to Shen Hongtang and her sister. When she saw you come out, a flash of undisguised disdain crossed her eyes. She said a couple of things, then left with an empty bowl. Brother-in-law, you're awake. Shen Shaowan brought over water for washing your face, standing obediently to the side. Cousin-in-law just sent over a bowl of rice water. Sister is making porridge. After you finished washing up, she immediately handed you a cloth. From now on, I'll do these things myself. Wiping your face, you knew clearly in your heart that your cousin and his wife were completely disappointed in you, the degenerate gambler. Sending the rice bran was purely out of pity for your two sisters-in-law. Breakfast was a bowl of yellow mush, which was just rice bran. In your past life, this stuff was used to feed livestock, but now it was your life-saving food. You finished it in a few gulps, putting something in your stomach. After greeting them, you headed out the door. You had to make money immediately. Otherwise, let alone repaying the debt, the whole family would starve to death. You wandered around the village, your mind racing. Kingshui village was dirt poor. The villagers looked at you, with eyes full of contempt mixed with a bit of pity. You didn't bother with them. Your gaze landed on a ridge in the field. An old farmer was holding a pair of long chopsticks, struggling to pick something out of the paddy field. Then he threw it hard away. Something landed at your feet from afar, constantly waving 2 large pincers. It was a crab. You picked it up, and threw it into the old farmer's bamboo basket, saying casually, "Uncle Zhao, you throw them so far. Won't they all just run back later? Go, go, stop making trouble." Uncle Zhao waved his hand impatiently. "I wish these pests would disappear for good. They dig holes all over my field. The rice is almost drying out." As he spoke, he poured out the crab you had thrown into the basket. You were stunned. "Uncle Zhao, don't you guys eat this stuff?" Uncle Zhao looked at you as if you were speaking nonsense. "Eat these pests. They have no meat, and they're foul. Who would eat such a thing? Are you here to annoy me first thing in the morning? They don't eat the pests?" Hearing this, your eyes lit up instantly. Looking at the crabs crawling all over the ground, which the villagers regarded as pests, your heart pounded wildly. "This is it! Isn't this the way to make money? Uncle Zhao, I'll help you catch them." Without another word, you took off your shoes, rolled up your pants, and stepped into the field. Uncle Zhao immediately looked at you warily. "I don't have any money to lend you for gambling." You smiled. "Uncle Zhao, look at what you're saying. I'm not here to borrow money. I'll help you clear out all the pests in your field. Can you just lend me this bamboo basket for the day?" "That's it?" Uncle Zhao was confused, but a bamboo basket wasn't worth much, so he nodded and agreed. "All right then. Don't use your hands. These bugs have a nasty pinch." Just as he finished speaking, a crab's large pincer firmly clamped onto your finger. "Oh no, that's bad." Uncle Zhao cried out in alarm, and nearby villagers also gathered around. "Changshan, let me pull its leg off for you. Just bear with it." "No need, you were unusually calm." You squatted down and submerged the crab, still clamped to your finger, into the water. 1 second, 2 seconds. The pincer let go. Everyone was dumbfounded. "Changshan, how did you know that trick?" Uncle Zhao asked in shock. You laughed it off with an excuse, but inside you were overjoyed. These things that seemed worthless to them, mere pests, were all cold, hard cash in your eyes. Soon, you had filled the bamboo basket, at least 70 or 80 of them. You thanked Uncle Zhao, shouldered the basket, and headed out of the village. From Kingshui village to the county seat, it was nearly 20 miles of mountain roads. You had to hurry. Passing by your house, you went in to tell Shen Hongtang and her sister. "Brother-in-law, what are you going to the county seat for?" Shen Shaowan asked curiously. "To sell these." You opened the basket to show them. "These can be sold?" Shen Hongtang looked incredulous. "These pests are everywhere in the fields. Who would buy them?" You grinned, with a rare look of confidence on your face. "Others can't sell them, but I can." Having said that, you took the empty, flat coin pouch from the house and strode out of the village. Shen Hongtang and Shen Shaowan looked at each other, both seeing confusion in the other's eyes. Selling pests, this sounded far too ridiculous. You traveled for 3 hours, getting blisters on the soles of your feet, and finally reached Qingyuan County at noon. You weren't in the mood to admire the bustling old city and went straight to a large restaurant in town. Mingyu Pavilion. You found a seat facing the street and sat down. Place the bamboo basket by your feet, then take out the coin pouch filled with stones. With a loud smack, you slam it heavily onto the table. "Waiter, I'd like to order." The dull thud immediately caught the waiter's attention. He saw the bulging pouch. His eyes lit up. His face broke into a huge smile. "Sir, what would you like to eat?" "Our house specialty at Mingyu Restaurant is..." No need, you directly interrupt him. Your voice isn't loud, but clear enough for several nearby tables to hear. "Bring me 10 crabs." The waiter is stunned by the request. "Sir, what are crabs?" "They're called Jia Ren bugs." You furrow your eyebrows, feigning impatience. The waiter suddenly realized, then got even more surprised. "Sir, people eat Jia Ren bugs too. I've worked in this restaurant for 4 or 5 years. I never heard of that." You say in an exaggerated tone. "A big restaurant like yours doesn't even know how to prepare Jia Ren bugs. In the capital, this is a rare delicacy everyone's dying to get." You speak while observing the other diners' reactions. Sure enough, A few people look curious. Your performance leaves the waiter dumbfounded. Ultimately, you shake your head and sigh in disappointment. Sigh, I was ready to spend whatever it took today just to eat it, but never thought that Qingyuan County wouldn't have it. Forget it, never mind. You leisurely put away the coin pouch and get up to leave. As soon as you leave, the waiter rushes into the back room. Boss, a rich customer just came in and specifically asked for Jia Ren bugs. Said it's a very popular dish in the capital. Within half an hour, you use the same method and visit all the biggest restaurants in Qingyuan County. All at once, this mysterious crab dish from the capital becomes an obsession for every restaurant owner. Everyone knows of it, but no one knows how to make it or where to get it. The atmosphere is now set. You carry your bamboo basket and head to the last restaurant, Dayu Restaurant. Mister, you get straight to the point. I'd like to meet your boss to discuss a deal. What kind of deal? Jia Ren bugs. The waiter looks puzzled, but still goes inside to report. Soon, a private room door opens. A woman in a purple cloud-patterned dress comes out. About 26 or 27 years old. Her makeup is exquisite, and her figure is graceful. Her sharp eyes sized you up critically. Young master, are you the one selling Jia Ren bugs? The woman is Luo Union, owner of Gayu Restaurant. She invites you into the private room. You just sat down. Luo Union smiles at you and cuts right to the chase. Earlier, ordering crabs in every restaurant in town. That was you, wasn't it? You raise an eyebrow. Didn't expect her to see through you. Impressive move, young master. Luo Union continues. Stirred up the entire town's restaurants. In just half an hour. So I suppose your Jia Ren bugs won't come cheap? Quality comes with a price. You smile. I can also sell the cooking method to the restaurant. How do you intend to sell it, young master? You hold up 5 fingers, 5 copper coins each. Luo Union laughs and shakes her head. That's outrageous, young master. This stuff is everywhere in the fields. 5 copper coins a pound would be steep. But you're selling by the piece. I can't make that decision myself. Her words are polite, but the refusal is obvious. She's seen through your marketing tactic, but isn't sold on your actual product. You look at her realizing that if you can't give her a compelling reason, this first deal of the day is doomed. And as Luo Union studies your silence, a hint of disappointment flashes in her eyes. She was hoping you'd do something impressive, but it turns out it's just a clever trick. Just as she's about to ask you to leave, you suddenly smile. Manager Luo, your restaurants. Business must have hit a wall, right? Luo Union is briefly stunned, then laughs. Young master. Don't you see how packed this place is? How could it be facing any issues? You smile even wider, lean forward slightly, and say word by word. But I'm guessing 80% of them are just here to fill up the room for show. The real customers are just a handful of tables. Right? Luo Union's sharp eyes flash coldly for a moment. Her gaze at you completely changed. Even her tone grew wary. Master Li, are you really here to do business? She starts to wonder if you're a rival troublemaker. Of course you know what she's thinking. You smile and explain, Manager Luo. No misunderstanding, those 3 at the first table by the door raised their glasses 6 times before I came in. But when I walked in, their cups were still full. And those dishes inside are stone cold. Haven't even touched their chopsticks. Frankly, not very convincing acting. You point out the problem sharply. And don't miss a beat. Luo Union's expression changes repeatedly. All these details were seen by you in the short walk from the entrance to the private room. You saw through everything. You have a keen eye, young master. Luo Union admits with a bitter smile.
Honestly.
Business has plummeted over the past half year. Most of the cooks have left. Now we can only keep up appearances. That's why this can save you. You gesture to the bamboo basket at your feet and make a bold suggestion. How about this? I make a few portions first. Let the real customers try it for free. See what they think before you decide to buy. Luo Union is swayed by your confidence and decides to take the gamble. She leads you personally to the kitchen. You clean the crabs and put them in the steamer. Add scallions, ginger, and Sichuan pepper to remove the fishiness. Several head cooks gather around you, their eyes full of doubt and contempt. Manager, are you sure that stuff's edible? Bet they're troublemakers sent by Juxian Restaurant. Luo Yunyan doesn't respond, but her tightly clenched fists give away her nerves. Soon, the first steamed crab is carried out by the waiter. The whole kitchen turns tense. Everyone feels like they're waiting on a verdict. Not long after, the waiter rushes back, pale-faced. Manager, something's wrong. The guest just kept staring at the crab after eating, and only said, "Get your manager over here." The head cooks all look worried, ready to chew you out. Get your manager over here? Once you hear that, it's almost always a sign of trouble. Luo Yunyan takes a deep breath and walks out solemnly, while you follow behind at a relaxed pace. Sure enough, the guests at that table in the main hall look very annoyed. The leader, a big fat man, points at the crab shells on the plate, looking displeased. Luo Yunyan feels a sinking feeling inside, just about to apologize. But at that moment, that man suddenly, slapping the table, the loud bang startled everyone. Luo Yunyan's heart leapt into her throat. However, the next second, the man roared with excitement 3 times. Good, good, good. This is the first time I've ever had this dish. I can't believe it's so delicious. It's many times tastier than fish or shrimp. He stood up excitedly, giving Luo Yunyan a big thumbs up. Manager, this dish is called crab, right? To make Jianzong so delicious. Your restaurant truly is a hidden gem. Luo Yunyan was stunned. The waiter and the cook peeking from behind had their mouths hanging open wide enough to fit an egg. This plot twist was too fast. Immediately after, the hall erupted like a boiling pot. Manager, bring us 6 more. Delicious. This texture is incredible. The white meat is savory, and the yellow roe is sweet and creamy. Bring 10 more. This costs so little. It's worth it even if it were more expensive. The tables of actual diners instantly became enthusiastic. Even the fake shills couldn't help but swallow their saliva. In an instant, the original fake popularity, because of your dish, turned into a genuine bustling scene. Luo Yunyan was both surprised and delighted. She immediately told the waiter to serve dishes as requested. The cooks also snapped out of their shock, their looks toward you changing from doubt to admiration.
Accompanying you, they kept saying how outstanding it was.
The price was set, as you said, 5 coins per crab. With the deal finalized, Luo Yunyan's face beamed with joy. Her gaze toward you now held a bit more appreciation and curiosity. From now on, Gayu Restaurant's crabs will all depend on Mr. Li's supply. You had a total of 82 crabs in your bamboo basket. Luo Yunyan readily paid 410 coins. Right in front of her, you emptied your money bag filled with stones, and then packed 4 heavy strings of copper coins inside. This was the first money you earned since coming to this world. Bring 300 first thing tomorrow. Luo Yunyan placed a large order directly. You agreed on a delivery time with her, shouldered the empty basket, and began calculating in your head. Owing Liu San 2 taels of silver, which is 2,000 coins. I earned over 400 today, 1,500 tomorrow, and I can pay it off the day after. Carrying this huge sum of money, you first went to the rice shop to buy a pound of rice, then to the market to get 3 ounces of pork. Thinking of the 2 sisters-in-law at home, who hadn't tasted meat for over half a year, your steps home felt a bit lighter. With rice and meat, the good life is starting now. On the way back to the village, your mind was racing with plans for tomorrow. 300 crabs would require 3 bamboo baskets. You couldn't carry them all alone. You had to borrow a cart. Zhang Yushen, the hunter at the west end, has a cart. Moreover, catching the crabs alone would take a lot of time. To deliver them by the scheduled time, you'd need to find help. Unknowingly, the village appeared before your eyes. When you got home, Shen Hongtang and the others hadn't returned yet. So you started cooking by yourself. At the same time, Shen Hongtang and Shen Shaowan were leaving your cousin's house. Hongtang, Shaowan, we just happened to cook white rice today. Stay and have some. Their cousin's wife, Fang Kaiping, greeted them warmly. Smelling the tempting aroma of rice, the sisters' stomachs growled uncontrollably. But they repeatedly waved their hands in refusal. Their cousin's family wasn't wealthy either. How could they feel right about staying for a meal? Sigh. Feng Kaiping sighed as she watched their thin figures walk away. She sighed deeply. Just as she turned around, she saw her husband, Jiang Yushen, returning. Those two girls must have felt embarrassed again. Jiang Yushen put down his basket and also sighed. They didn't eat much at noon and helped us work all day. Let's take some food over to them in a bit. Feng Kaiping looked reluctant. You go, I don't want to see that cousin of yours. I heard he owes Liu San another 2 taels of silver from gambling. He really is a hopeless case. Jiang Yushen also looked helpless. Regarding you, his cousin, he had long been utterly disappointed. On the other side, Shen Hongtang and Shen Shaowan were walking home hungry. The bit of rice bran from the morning had long been digested. Now, the scent of white rice from their cousin's house still lingered, making their mouths water. Sister, what about brother-in-law tonight? Shen Shaowan asked her anxiously. He walked such a long way. He must be even hungrier. Shen Hongtang bit her lip, already having a plan in mind. They would likely go hungry again today. As for you, you'd likely return empty-handed. She only hoped you wouldn't take your anger out on them. The two entered the house with uneasy hearts, only to be surprised to find smoke coming from their chimney. Sister, look, is brother-in-law back? How could brother-in-law possibly be cooking? Shen Hongtang reflexively countered. But her expression changed the next second. Oh no, could it be a fire? The sisters were scared out of their wits. They ran toward the house like crazy. With a loud bang, Shen Hongtang anxiously pushed open the courtyard gate. Then, they saw a scene they would never forget. Li Changsheng was carrying a bowl of food, walking out of the smoky kitchen. He was fanning himself while talking to himself. Damn, it's no good without arranged food. I'm choking. Shen Hongtang and Shen Shaowan were completely frozen in place. Brother-in-law is cooking? This was more absurd than the sun rising in the west. You two are back? Just in time, the food is ready. Wash your hands and come in to eat. You put the dish down and came out to urge them again. The sisters walked in dazed, as if their souls had been snatched. When they saw the food on the table, their pupils dilated instantly. Sichuan-style tofu, stir-fried rapeseed, 3 bowls of heaped white rice, and a plate of glistening stir-fried shredded pork. That was pork. A pound of pork could be traded for 6 or 7 pounds of rice. It was something they didn't even dare to dream of. Sister, where did all this come from? Shen Hongtang's voice was trembling. Traded for Jianzong. While shoveling rice into your mouth, you said indistinctly, don't worry about the money. From now on, I'll take care of this home. Jianzong really sold? And it was traded for rice and meat? The sisters felt like they were in a dream. Come over, sit down and eat. If you dawdle any longer, I'll be unhappy. You intentionally put on a stern face. This tactic worked as expected. The two of them immediately sat down obediently. Seeing they were still timid, waiting for you to move your chopsticks first, you started eating first. Then Shen Shaowan picked up some pork shreds and carefully placed them in your bowl. Shen Hongtang also added food for you. Hurry up and eat yours. You intentionally looked stern. I have things to tell you after we finish. When the fragrant soft white rice and the savory pork shreds slid down their throats, the sisters almost burst into tears. They couldn't remember the last time they had eaten meat. They ate this meal ravenously. Their little mouths were stuffed full, like 2 greedy little hamsters. Seeing how hungry they looked, you couldn't help but feel a pang in your heart. You picked up another big piece of meat for each of them. Thank you, brother-in-law. Both girls' eyes turned red. Having food to eat and someone to care about them. This warmth made them want to cry. After the meal, you scooped a bowl of rice from the sack and handed it to them. Granny Wang helped us out before. Take this bowl of rice to her. Thank her for me. Then you wrapped up a small bundle of rice. Grabbed the empty bamboo basket. I'm going to visit my cousin's house. After saying that, you walked out the door, leaving your 2 sisters-in-law standing there, confused. Unable to snap out of it for a long time. Your older sister-in-law Shen Xiaowan murmured in a daze. Brother-in-law has changed so much. He seems like someone I don't even know anymore. Of course you've changed. You Li Changsheng don't like to owe favors. No matter if it's debts or personal favors the original owner owed, you always pay them back, little by little, double. You carried the rice and bamboo basket, headed straight to your cousin Zhang Yushin's house like you knew the way well. Who's there? Your cousin-in-law Fang Kaiping's cautious voice came from inside. It's me, Chang Shang. The door opened. Fang Kaiping frowned as she looked at you. It's so late, what's the matter? You're well aware of your past behavior, so you put on a very humble attitude. You smiled and said, cousin-in-law, it was my fault for what happened before. I came specifically to apologize to you both. Fang Kaiping looked at you suspiciously. She couldn't figure out what you were up to. Once inside, Zhang Yushin was surprised to see you. You're just in time. Your cousin-in-law was about to bring you some food. You looked at the bowl of plain rice and the packet of rice soup on the table. It felt bittersweet. The original owner really was a troublemaker. To turn such good relatives against him. Cousin-in-law, we've already eaten. You put the rice you brought on the table. Open it up directly. This rice is just a little gesture from your younger cousin. Seeing those sparkling rice grains, the couple were completely stunned. Where did you get the money? Did you borrow it again? Or did you gamble for it? Zhang Yushin immediately pressed you. None of that. You shook your head. I earned it by selling family bugs. Of course they didn't believe you. You didn't explain any further. Went straight to the point. Cousin-in-law. I want to ask you to help me catch family bugs tomorrow morning. 5 coins per person for the whole morning. What? The couple instantly exploded. They work hard all month. Even after handing over what they owe, they only make about 30 coins. Yet you're offering 10 coins just for one morning. Changshan, stop talking nonsense. Zhang Yushin's face turned grim. You expected their disbelief. Without another word, you took out 10 copper coins from your pocket. You slapped them onto the table with a smack. This is a deposit? As long as you agree. This money is yours right now. Looking at those neatly stacked coins, Zhang Yushin and Fang Kaiping were completely dumbfounded. They knew your old habits all too well. Forget 10 coins. Even with just 1 coin, you'd split it in half for gambling if you could. But now you've not only brought rice, you're even paying them to work. Is this really the same clueless Li Changsheng? All right, we'll go first thing in the morning. Zhang Yushin agreed in a daze. This feeling was more dizzying than getting drunk. With the helpers settled, you rushed off to Hunter Chu's house on the west side of the village. Rented a wheelbarrow. Then dropped by Uncle Zhao's place to return the bamboo basket. Bought several more while you were at it. When everything was finally done, you pushed the cart loaded with baskets back home. It was completely dark outside. You gave the rickety cart a try. This broken cart wobbled like crazy. With your tiny frame, you didn't even stand a chance. If you fill it with 300 crabs tomorrow, you're bound to tip it over into a ditch. Looks like you'll need to hire someone just for pushing the cart tomorrow. You had just sat down inside. A wave of soreness swept over your whole body. You'd walked 40 miles. The soles of your feet burned with pain. No need to check to know there were blisters. Brother-in-law, are you going to catch family bugs again tomorrow morning? Shen Shaowan came over without you noticing, carefully using a handkerchief to wipe your sweat. You were about to answer. Shen Hongtang had already put everything away. Let's go. She said, we'll help out too tomorrow. We won't be any trouble for you. You smiled. All right, you take it over. You asked, and Shen Hongtang nodded. But her face showed worry. We did deliver it, but we ran into Niwa. He saw us carrying rice. His look was off. Brother-in-law, if Lusan finds out we have rice, he'll definitely come give us trouble. Don't worry. You waved your hand carelessly. If he dares to come, I'll just send him packing again. You're completely exhausted. Just want to shower and go to bed ASAP. Shan Shaowan obediently squatted down. Her little pink fists gently massaging your legs. Not much force, but your tense muscles instantly relaxed. At that moment, you caught sight of the fading purple mark on her arm. Felt another pang of guilt. Brother-in-law, your foot. When Shan Shaowan helped you take off your shoes, she saw the shiny big blisters on your solace. Couldn't help but cry out in surprise. Only then did she realize that lavish dinner tonight was brought home step by step on your own 2 feet. The house is basic. You can only bathe in the kitchen. Shen Hongtang had already gotten hot water ready for you. Steam filled the kitchen. I checked the water temperature. Should be just right, she said and turned to leave. Hey, wait. You instinctively reached out, wanting to ask her for a towel. But just then, your middle finger happened to catch the red string hanging around her neck. With her moving forward, the tied string snapped with a swish. A bright red little garment slid down from her chest, dropped to the floor. You froze. Shen Hongtang was stunned as if struck by lightning. She stood completely still. The air seemed frozen for 3 seconds. She snapped out of it suddenly, hurriedly using her arms to cover her chest, her face instantly turning red like a boiled crab. You looked at her embarrassed and angry expression. Awkwardly explained, I just wanted you to bring me a towel. Only then did Shen Hongtang realize, and stuffed the cloth in her hands into your arms, grabbed her underclothes from the floor, and dashed out as if on fire. You watched her leave, shook your head helplessly. Who knew that string would be so loose? It came undone with just a touch. After your bath, you returned to your room. The sisters have already made the bed. Your bedding has been laid out on the bed. Your sister said you were too tired today. Sleeping in a bed will help you rest well, Shen Shaowan whispered softly. You raised an eyebrow and glanced at Shen Hongtang, who's turned away from you. Her little face was puffed up. Obviously, she's still angry. You chuckled. You didn't call her out. You used a needle to prick the blister on your foot. Then you lay down to rest. Early the next morning, after breakfast, you took the 2 kids and pushed the cart to the Zhang Yushin family's field. The couple were already waiting there early in the morning sunlight. Shen Hongtang and Shen Shaowan stood barefoot on the field ridge, with their pants legs rolled up, showing 2 pairs of fair, porcelain-like legs. They quickly got down into the field and started catching crabs with their bare hands. Their movements were even more nimble than your cousins. The brother and sister were even handier than your cousins. You gave a few simple instructions, and then set off to find your childhood friend. You'd already planned this with Hughesy yesterday. Either he would help you push the cart. Hughesy is well built and strong, and he's great at physical work. Most importantly, he's honest, trustworthy. When you arrived at his house, he and his father Chun Mankang were moving firewood in the yard. Uncle Chun, Hughesy, you greeted them with a smile. When Chun Mankang saw you, his eyes were full of wariness. You didn't mind either, since the original owner's reputation was so bad. Changshan, Hughesy was really happy to see you. He ran over quickly. Go to the site with me today. You got straight to the point. Hughesy hadn't replied yet, but Chun Mankang interjected. Your kid again? Are you planning to take him gambling again? Uncle Chun, I already quit gambling. You explained. I just want Hughesy to help me push the cart to deliver goods. It's 20 yuan round trip. With that, you took out 20 yuan and handed it straight to Hughesy. Both father and son were stunned. Just to push a cart? Chun Mankang couldn't believe his ears. You paid 20 coins just to make a run to the county? That's way too easy to earn. Hughesy tried to give the money back to you, but you stuffed the money into Chun Mankang's hand instead, and dragged Hughesy away. On the way, Hughesy was still a bit uneasy, and asked you cautiously, Changshan, you really quit gambling? I quit gambling. You patted him on the shoulder. You'll get it after coming with me today. When you returned to the field edge, 3 bamboo baskets were already more than halfway filled. So fast? You were a bit surprised. Jiang Yushan wiped his sweat and pointed to the two busy figures in the field. Hong Tang and Shaowan are much faster than us. You looked at those two pairs of little feet, shining white as they popped in and out of the mud. It lifted your spirits. You called out to them. We're going to the county today. I'll buy you some meat to eat. With Husey, the big strong guy, you all arrived at Gayu restaurant half an hour early, ahead of schedule. You were just about to go in, when you sharply sensed something was off with the restaurant's atmosphere. The busboy at the door was craning his neck, peering into a private room. His expression was tense. Sounds of an argument could be heard from inside. What's going on? You walked over to the busboy. The busboy was startled by you and was about to pull you away. Suddenly, someone burst out of the private room, pointed at you, and shouted excitedly, "That's him! He's the one who sold the family worms yesterday." As soon as he said that, several men in brocade robes rushed out of the private room, completely surrounding you. These people are exactly the innkeepers you ran into at other restaurants yesterday. The same ones you met. Young master, sell me the crabs in your hand. I'll pay triple. My name is Yulu. I'll pay 4 times more. I'll pay 6 times more. The innkeepers were all bidding against each other. Their eyes were almost green with envy. Obviously, this crab dish, after spreading overnight yesterday, has already become famous in town. Luo Yunyan finally came out from the private room and saw the commotion. A trace of worry flickered across his face. He had already prepared for the worst. After all, when faced with absolute profit, the little friendship you have with them doesn't really matter. But your next words left everyone shocked. Sorry, everyone. You smiled at them, but your tone was firm. These crabs, I've already sold them to Gayu House. He waved to start moving the goods inside. Luo Yunyan was stunned. Those beautiful phoenix eyes were full of disbelief. He actually didn't choose Mr. Li, who offered more. He couldn't help but speak up. Their offers weren't low. You turned to him with a bright smile. No matter how high the price is, you still have to follow the first come, first served rule. A deal is a deal. You have to keep your word. Otherwise, who would dare do business with me next time? Luo Yunyan's heart felt like it was gently struck by something. The word integrity, coming from someone he had labeled a rude scholar, when said out loud, sounded so different. Young master, that's not how business works. Manager Fang from Mingyu House stood up. Forcing a fake smile, he said, in business. It's all about the highest bid, and it's just a dish. Even if we don't buy your recipe, we'll figure it out ourselves soon enough. By then, your product will be worthless. He paused for a second. His tone took on a bit of threat. This is your only chance. Think this through carefully. You better be sure. You glanced at him. If persuasion doesn't work, he'll just resort to threats. You snorted coldly and fired back directly. Weren't you just saying business goes both ways? Now you want to force a deal? Aren't you slapping yourself in the face? I can sell to whoever I want. What's it to you? Huang Wana's face turned dark instantly. He pointed at you and said harshly, Fine, kid. You'll pay for your arrogance. You replied expressionlessly. People like you will never get a decent meal their whole life. Huang Wanan was shaking with rage. He glared at you viciously, then stormed off. And just like that, the chaos ended. Luo Yunyan was impressed by you. He not only personally arranged a nice private room for you, but also invited your strong buddy Husey inside. Mr. Li, you really impress me. Luo Yunyan personally poured you a drink. Without any contract involved. You weren't tempted by money. It's rare to see such integrity. You waved it off with a smile, saying this was just basic. After a few rounds of drinks, you took a sip of Luo Yunyan's famous Qingyuan County spring liquor and almost spit it out right on the spot. This stuff tastes like plain water and has a weird smell. This lousy wine somehow actually costs a tael of silver per jar and still sells well. Suddenly, a bold idea flashed in your mind. Relying on selling crabs isn't a long-term plan, but wine could really be big business. You made up your mind and didn't stick around any longer. After collecting the 15 million payment, you also set a new deal with Luo Yunyan for 500 crabs tomorrow and left with Husey. But just as you were leaving, 2 sneaky figures slipped out of the alley beside Gayu House. It was Lusan and Neua, who knew that family's pests would actually sell for money. Neua said in his thick voice. Lusan stared at your receding silhouette, a sinister grin curling on his lips. So what if he sells them? I've got ways to ruin him. You had no idea about any of this. And headed straight to the market with Husey. First, you bought 2 waist-high wooden barrels and some brewing supplies. Then you went to a pharmacy for the best medicine for wounds, and even grabbed some rice on the way, giving half to Husey. After handling everything, you pushed your cart back to the village, back home. Shen Shaowan greeted you like a happy little bird. You sat inside and found that Shen Hongtang wasn't there. Big Sis went to help Aunt Li harvest grain. She can earn 3 coins a day. Shen Shaowan poured you water and answered obediently. You nodded and took out some ointment from your pocket. Sit down and stretch out your arm. Shen Shaowan's body instantly froze. Her big, clear eyes were full of fear. Her voice was trembling. Brother-in-law, did Shaowan do something wrong? Looking at her pitiful face, your heart ached. The original owner's cruelty had left such deep scars in this girl's heart. You wondered just how severe her trauma was. I told you I'd never lay a hand on you again. Your tone softened without you realizing. You opened the ointment, dabbed some with your finger, and gently applied it to her arm. On those hideous scars, her skin was as tender as tofu, as smooth as silk. But even these jade-like arms were covered in layers of old and new whip marks. Shen Shaowan stared blankly at you. As you carefully applied the medicine, her tears fell like broken beads, dripping down rapidly. Brother-in-law, I'm sorry. She frantically wiped her tears away with her other hand. Does it hurt? You asked softly. She shook her head hard. No, Shaowan is used to being taught lessons. Hearing that, a wave of anger surged through your chest. You took a deep breath and suppressed your anger, continuing with the medicine. Shen Shaowan seemed to realize she said something wrong and started explaining in a low voice. When I was little, my dad drank and would hit me, even harder than brother-in-law. She haltingly told her story. Only then did you realize this seemingly fragile girl grew up always being beaten and scolded. A part of your heart completely softened. You swore to yourself, from now on, you'd never let anyone bully them again. The ointment felt cool on their wounds and quickly stopped the itching. Shen Shaowan watched your focused face, feeling warm inside. All her life, this is the first time someone has cared for her like this. This feeling made her a bit dazed. It was as if she could see a glimmer of hope for the future. You hand him the ointment. When Hongtang returns later, you help her apply it too. After saying this, you head straight into the kitchen and start messing with the winemaking gear you bought. At night, Shen Hongtang comes back. She also brought some vegetables and rice soup. She clearly spent all the 30 coins she earned today on food, afraid you'd take it and squander it as her gambling sister. The 2 sisters were still doubtful about your change. They thought the reason you were so nice to them might just be because tomorrow is the last day to repay the debt. If it's not paid, they'll be dragged off by Lusan to repay it. Maybe this is your last act of kindness. That night, you lay on the bed, listening to the sisters tossing and turning in the dark. Then you speak up, saying once the debt is paid tomorrow, I'll have the carpenter make another bed. Brother-in-law, can we really pay off the debt? Shen Shaowan's voice comes from the dark, quivering with both fear and hope. Of course, you say easily. Selling the crabs tomorrow will be enough. Shen Hongtang lays awake in the dark, unable to believe it. 2 taels of silver. That's a year's living expense for a family of 3. And you're saying you can gather it in just 2 days. How could that be possible? Early the next morning, before dawn, you all head out. But you only walk a short way before you see Jiang Yushen, Fang Kaiping, and Husey rushing over in a panic. Brother Changsheng, something's wrong. All the beauty bugs in the fields are gone. Husey says out of breath. You frown. Who else could have done it? Lusan and those guys? Jiang Yushen stomps his feet with anger. They were there before dawn and swept the fields clean of beauty bugs. Said they're taking them to sell in the county too. Before he even finishes, you see Niu leading a few guys, pushing a cart full of bamboo baskets, swaggering toward you on the path. Well, isn't this brother Changsheng? Niu sneers with a smirk, his tone dripping with mockery. Too bad. We bought up all the beauty bugs today. Looks like Geulu won't be getting your goods. He looks at you with pride and keeps provoking you, Sanjay said. If you know what's good for you, send your two little sisters-in-law over today, so he won't have to come for them tonight. Shen Hongtang trembles with rage, pointing at him and cursing. But Niu just shrugs indifferently. It's not like these fields belong to you. If you can catch them, why can't we? Seeing Niu acting all smug, everyone's heart sinks. It's over, today's delivery can't happen. Not only do you offend Geulu, you can repay Lu San. The sister's fate seems sealed. Just as everyone falls into despair, you suddenly speak up. Hughesy, are there snakes in the village? This question leaves everyone stunned. There are plenty in the hills behind. Hughesy answers instinctively. Good, your eyes sharpen. Then you start giving orders rapidly. Wuziai, you go catch a few snakes from the hills. They need to be this long. You gesture the proper length with your hand. Hongtang, go borrow a fishing net from Uncle Sue's house. The finest mesh kind. And buy 2 bamboo baskets from old Zhao. Cousin-in-law. You guys go help out. Shaowan, you come with me to the river. If you see big rocks on the way, put them on the cart. Your voice is steady and forceful, carrying an undeniable authority. Even if everyone is full of doubt, they still instinctively follow your orders and split into groups to work. Soon, everything is ready. You direct everyone to cut the snake meat into chunks. Tie them onto the fishing net. Attach the rocks, then cast each net into the river. Crabs are attracted to bloody bait, especially snake meat. This trick you learned in your previous life from an old fisherman. Now, it just depends on if it works. As time ticks by, everyone watches the river anxiously, their nerves on edge. About half an hour passes. You judge it's just about time and shout, haul in the nets. You and Hughesy and Zhang Yushin work together to pull up the first net. There are only 20 or 30 crabs sparsely clinging to it. Hope instantly turns to disappointment. Every net after that is the same. Altogether, barely 100, still far from the goal of 500. Just as everyone is about to give up, you approach the last net. You'd put more snake meat in this one. This was your last hope. A few people together haul the heavy fishing net out of the water. When you see the net, crammed full of crabs, everyone is stunned. A solid heaving mass. Must be at least 400 or 500. We got them. We got them. Hughesy shouts excitedly. Saved at the brink. Everyone is overwhelmed with joy. Shan Shaowang looks at you. Her big eyes shine with admiration. Brother-in-law, you're amazing. Shen Hongtang also stares blankly at you and realizes she's never truly known. This brother-in-law, this man, just how many secrets is he still hiding? Smiling, you explain. I just read about it in a book. You help them pack the crabs into baskets, while sneering inwardly. Liu San, you want to cut off my path? It won't be that easy. You and Hughesy rush, and finally arrive in Qingyuan County before noon. At the same time, in front of Mingyulu, Lang Wanan is chatting proudly with Niua. Don't worry, shopkeeper Huang. That Li Changshen couldn't catch more than a few dozen crabs today. Gailu's business is done for. Niua guarantees, pounding his chest. Huang Wanan nods in satisfaction, looking toward Geulu, a malicious smile on his face. Some poor scholar dares act up in front of him. Once your supply is cut off, let's see how cocky you are. Just as they're basking in success, a familiar wheelbarrow creaks by in front of them. On the cart were 5 bamboo baskets loaded to the brim, and the ones pushing were you and Hughesy. The smiles instantly freeze on Huang Wanan and Niua's faces. Well, what a coincidence. You stop in your tracks, smiling at them. Niua's eyes nearly pop out of his head. How'd you have so many family members? Caught them in the fields. Are you pretending to be surprised? Didn't you go there? I went before dawn today. Caught 5 full baskets. But I didn't see you there. You're saying this on purpose for Huang Wanan to hear. Sure enough, Huang Wanan's face instantly turned livid. His cold gaze shot at Niua. You're messing with me. Niua was scared out of his wits. He quickly explained, Boss Huang, don't listen to his nonsense. We clearly saw him this morning. You saw me? You looked innocent. You can talk nonsense about food, but you can't talk nonsense with your words. If you really caught all the crabs, then these 5 baskets just fell from the sky. You lift the cloth covering the bamboo baskets. The lively jumping crabs instantly silenced everyone. Huang Wanan was trembling with rage. He pointed at Neyua's nose and cursed loudly. Tell Liu San that the debt he owes me can't be short even 1 cent. If he dares fool me, I'll make sure he can't walk out of here. With that, he stormed back to the inn in anger. Liu stared at your departing back, gritting his teeth. Li Changsheng, just you wait. Today you won't escape without Qian Sanj skinning you alive. Ignoring the drama behind you, you went straight to Gaiyu Tower. The Gaiyu Tower was bustling with people at this hour. There wasn't a single empty seat. Luo Yunyan was busy attending to customers. When she saw you arrived, she quickly asked the server to pay you for this batch of goods. 2 taels of silver, plus 500 wen in cash. With the heavy silver in your hand, you finally felt a huge weight lifted from your heart. You could pay off Liu San's debt today. And not only that, but you also had enough for the head tax for your 2 sisters-in-law. You could finally let loose and work hard. You didn't stay long. You took Hughesy to the market and bought cloth, thread, some pork fat, and a few boxes of exquisite pastries. On the way back to the village, you found the mountain road, which was fairly flat before, had been maliciously dug with a lot of pits, and people had thrown a bunch of rocks there too. It's obvious even without thinking. It's definitely Liu San and his gang who did this. Their goal was to delay your return to the village. As long as it's past the hour of you, even if you came back with the money, it'd be too late. Hughesy, you walk slowly. I'll go ahead. You glanced at the sky, left everything to Hughesy, and sprinted off alone. As the sun set in the west, when you finally saw the entrance to the village, there was already a huge crowd gathered there. Liu San was leading a few thugs, forcibly dragging Shen Hongtang and Shen Xiaowan, trying to force them onto a carriage. Liu San, let them go. You roared loudly, charging forward like an enraged lion. When your brother-in-law saw you return, the sisters looked like they'd just seen their savior, tears immediately welling up in their eyes. At first, Liu San was stunned to see you, then sneered. You actually came back. So did you manage to scrape together the money? He was certain there was no way you got 2 taels of silver in such a short time. You didn't waste any words. You took out 2 taels of silver and threw them in his face. Here's the money, give me the IOU. Liu San was stung by the silver hitting him, and looked at the gleaming silver on the ground. He was completely stunned, and all the villagers watching were shocked too. Li Changsheng, that hopeless gambler, actually came up with the money. For a beauty bug, you'd have to sell 2,000 of them for 1 wen just to get enough. Liu San snapped back to his senses and shouted in disbelief, how is this possible? Who told you they're 1 wen each? You cut him off with a cold laugh. Liu San, your information is so outdated. You took a step forward, grabbed his collar, and your eyes turned icy sharp. Let me tell you today what it's really called. With a deliberate pause, you spoke about the information gap. My crabs cost 5 wen each. These 500 today. I only sold them for 2 taels. As soon as you mentioned 500 wen, everyone was stunned. 5 wen per crab. Even those common Jia people insects in the fields are actually worth this much money. Shen Hongtang and Shen Xiaowan were shocked. They never expected. Not only did you repay the debt, but you made so much money all at once. Liu San was completely dumbfounded. He just couldn't figure it out. He thought he'd found out all the news perfectly. So how was there such a huge mistake? He stared at you, his murderous intent totally unmasked in his eyes. He finally felt afraid. This Li Changsheng really seems different now. I can pay back the money, and you don't even want it. You squint your eyes, looking at this lost and broken man in front of you. Obviously, these 2 taels of silver are not life-saving for Liu San. They're actually his curse. He's holding the silver you tossed over, as if it's a red-hot branding iron. His lips tremble. and his face turns pale. The next second, his expression twists fiercely, and he lunges toward Shen Hongtang and Shen Shaoan like a madman. But time has already passed. They belong to me. You instantly shield the sisters behind you. Your arm accidentally brushes something soft. Your movement pauses briefly. Then you casually step forward. Zhang Yushen and a few villagers step up immediately, firmly blocking the crazy Liu San. You tear up the debt slip in your hand and stare at him coldly. It's not even the hour of you yet. I've settled the debt. If you dare act shameless again, I won't hesitate to report you to the authorities. You, a simpleton from Liu San completely panics. He glances toward the wagon, at the two burly men standing arms crossed and smirking, and his legs start to shake. Those two men were hired from the opera house to collect payment. Liu San himself owes 5 taels of silver at the opera house. He was planning to pay off his debt by selling the Shen sisters, but he didn't expect you, the clueless one, to actually pay up. While everyone watched in disbelief, Liu San's knees buckled, and he dropped straight to his knees in front of you. Brother Changsheng, I was wrong. Lend me 3 taels of silver. I'll do anything for you. He grabbed your legs, begging and crying with all his might. The dramatic scene left everyone utterly shocked. Just a moment ago, he was an arrogant thug, but now he's groveling on the ground for mercy. You kick him away, your eyes full of disdain. Finally, you see through the whole situation. From start to finish, it was all a setup. Liu San couldn't pay his debt at the opera house, so he targeted Shen Hongtang and Shen Shaoan. He set you up to owe money on purpose, just so he could legally take the sisters to pay off his debt. Settle the debt. Turns out, everything was calculated from the beginning. You sneer, exposing his scheme clearly word by word. When Shen Hongtang and Shen Shaoan heard the truth, they were so shocked they couldn't speak. They never imagined. They almost became victims of someone else's debt. And you, the one they'd trusted least, at the most critical moment, pulled them out of the abyss. Liu San kept begging pitifully, but the two burly men were already losing patience. Liu San, looks like you can't pay us back. One of the burly men stepped forward, grabbed him by the collar. I can pay. Liu San was so scared he nearly wet himself, pointing at the silver in your hand. He still has money. The burly men turned their gaze to you, giving you a scrutinizing look. You watched the farce unfold, smirking inwardly. Lend you money? Dream on. You just want to see him pushed to the edge. Watch him pay for his actions. You dust your hands off and speak to the two burly men. Brothers, these 2 taels of silver are what he just paid me back. As for what he owes you, that has nothing to do with me. Liu San, you dare mess with us. The burly men flew into a rage and stopped wasting words. They grabbed Liu San like a chick and marched him toward the wagon. Brother Changshen, help me. I'll give you all the money. I won't ever dare again. Liu San's cries faded away until only a shrill scream remained. The whole mess finally settled. You looked at the 2 sisters, still shaken, and handed them the snacks you bought at the market. Don't be afraid. As long as you have your brother-in-law, no one can bully you. Shen Shaoan took the snacks, her big watery eyes, for the first time brimming with trust and dependence on you. While Shen Hongtang just stared at you, her eyes complicated. This man who once brought her despair has now become their only support. You glare at Liu San. The vicious light in your triangular eyes sweeps over them. The 2 burly men behind him. You shrug and throw out a harsh line. You've taken 5 taels of silver from me already. I have no money to lend you anymore. As soon as you finish speaking, the burly man's eyes turned fierce. Liu San's face changed drastically. Seeing the irony on your face, he exploded on the spot. His features twisted fiercely. He pointed at you and started cursing you out. Before he finished, the burly man beside him grabbed his collar, bursting with anger. Liu San, you're something else. Always saying you have no money, yet treating us like fools. Liu San's face was blank, tongue twisted in fear. Brothers, don't listen to his nonsense. You squint and step forward, your tone sharp with every word. You dare say I never gave you money before? Liu San, eyes bloodshot. You did give me money. But look at you. You cut him off mid-sentence. Turn around and cup your hands toward the burly man, your tone full of indignation for them. He has money but won't pay you, and even tricked you into coming out to this remote place, trying to use my two sisters-in-law to settle his debt. He can't make any decisions for my sisters-in-law. If you actually take them, I'll immediately report you to the authorities. When the government investigates, guess who'll get in trouble? This isn't paying off a debt. He's just using you as pawns. Who's got people on both sides? The burly men instantly caught on. One of them glared at Liu San fiercely, like he was about to eat him. Liu San tried to plot, and ended up targeting us. Liu San panicked completely, his legs trembling, begging incoherently for mercy. He turned around and like a mad dog lunged toward you again, yelling to take you down. But with his tiny frame, in the burly man's hands he was just like a chick, forced face down onto the ground. You watched coldly, thinking he brought this on himself. Liu San tried to call on the Tiger Head Mountain gang for backup, but as soon as he opened his mouth, the two burly men went completely red-eyed. They lifted their feet and viciously kicked his legs. A sharp crack of breaking bones echoed at the village entrance. Liu San's leg twisted into an abnormal angle. His pig-slaughtering scream instantly shocked everyone. You still dare to scare me with men from the mountain? Looks like you don't need that mouth of yours either. Another kick landed. Another crack was heard. His other leg was broken too. His piercing screams drifted far away with the wind. Niu Ah, who was following Liu San, was already terrified, cowering in the back. He didn't even dare to make a sound. The two strong men picked up the silver from the ground. One on each side, they dragged Liu San, limp like mud, to the cart. No one cared about this life or death scene. Liu San shouted hoarsely for Niua. Go to Tiger Head Mountain and get Guomazi to deal with you. But Niua was long gone, scared out of his wits. The cart wheels rolled over the dirt road, creaking loudly. They got farther and farther away. You gave a cold snicker. The mountain path was full of potholes, all left by half-pit traps Liu San had people dig before. With both legs ruined, this bumpy trip back was sure to nearly kill him. All the villagers around were stunned. One by one, they stared at you. Their eyes were filled with unfamiliarity. No one could have imagined that the dull scholar from before, with just a few words today, without even lifting a finger, had crippled Liu San. You turned to the gathering villagers, cupped your hands in greeting. With an open smile, you said, cousins, uncles and elders, thank you all so much today. If you hadn't been here, my two young sisters-in-law would have been taken away. I'll remember this favor. I will repay it in the future. The villagers stood there, dumbstruck for a long time, then quickly waved their hands, saying it was nothing. Watching you as you led Shen Hongtang and Shen Shaowan back to the village, their gazes completely changed. The two girls followed behind you, one on each side. Quiet and composed. Shen Shaowan kept sneaking glances at you along the way, never hiding her smile. Her sweetness seemed to drip with honey. As for Shen Hongtang, the girl who used to look at you with wariness and coldness, now watched your back with a much softer gaze. You suddenly stopped in your tracks. You turned your head, and both girls got distracted. One left, one right, and bumped right into your arms. You smiled at the blushing Shen Shaowan. Shaowan's been watching me the whole way. Why are you smiling? The girl's face instantly turned bright red, clutching the hem of her clothes, her voice soft and sweet. Nothing. I just feel like brother-in-law has changed. Really? You smiled? Then turned to the composed Shen Hongtang, trying to look indifferent. You raised an eyebrow. Aren't you happy? Shen Hongtang's face stiffened a bit, still being stubborn, and after a long pause, she only managed, no, I'm not unhappy. Then give us a smile. You were in a great mood, so you reached out and pinched her cheek, lifting her tightly pressed lips upward. All debts are settled. Is there anything more satisfying than this? Shen Hongtang's face immediately went crimson. She slapped your hand away, grumbling annoying, and quickly ran home. But that back of hers no longer carried the heavy gloom from before. Shen Shaoan hurried to explain softly, "Brother-in-law, don't be mad, sister is just happy. She just doesn't know how to tell you." You smiled and nodded. Just as you reached the door, Shen Shaoan suddenly tugged your sleeve. "Brother-in-law, where's the handcart you rented?" You suddenly remembered. Huzia is still pushing a cartload of goods behind. It's almost dark, and the mountain roads aren't safe. If Huzia runs into those two strong men, it's nothing if the goods get stolen. But if something happens to him, that's a big problem. And besides, Liu San, if he's still conscious with his ruined legs, who knows what tricks he might pull. You told Shen Shaoan to go home first, turned around and rushed outside the village. But after only a few steps, you bumped right into Jiang Yushin and his wife. Jiang Yushin grabbed you, looking worried. "Changsheng, be really careful. Niu definitely went to Tiger Head Mountain for Guomazi. That Guomazi used to be from our village, but now he's a mountain bandit, and his hands are stained with blood." You tried to sound tough, but you understood the risks. Without stopping, you kept going, hurrying along the mountain path. Jiang Yushin shouted anxiously behind you, "Don't take this too lightly. That Guomazi really is dangerous." "I hear you, cousin." You pressed on, never slowing as you headed up the mountain road, walking quickly when you suddenly stopped in your tracks. Out of the corner of your eye, you noticed someone by the roadside woods. It looked like someone was lying there. You took 2 steps back and looked closely into the woods. Your heart skipped a beat. Under the tree was a person covered in blood. Judging by the figure, a woman. She wasn't moving at all, as if she'd fainted. You listened carefully for any sounds nearby, but found nothing unusual. Then you crept over cautiously. The woman wore a black and red fitted outfit, her face covered with a veil, and gripped a long sword in her hand. Blood at her abdomen had already dried. She'd clearly been injured for some time. You tested her breath with your hand. It was faint, but she could still be saved. You took off the cloth covering her face and instantly raised your eyebrows. A stunning cold beauty was revealed. An oval face, long brows, elegant nose, her skin fair as snow. Even passed out, her expression warned others to stay away. She was like a beautiful ice sculpture. You muttered to yourself, "This girl really is beautiful." You grabbed her cool wrist, wanting to help her up and take her back. But as soon as you tried, her willow eyebrows furrowed sharply, and she slowly opened her eyes. 4 eyes met, and you were staring into a pair of icy, murderous eyes. You grinned widely, about to say something, when the girl snapped, "How rude." She gritted her blood-stained teeth, grabbed her sword hilt, and tried to draw it out. But as soon as the sword left its sheath, her wound tore open further, and she groaned in pain, cold sweat instantly beading on her forehead. Her movements froze completely. You instinctively stepped back, but seeing her like this, you hurried over and pressed the sword back into its scabbard, pushing it in place. You reached to take the sword away, but surprisingly, even this badly injured, the girl's strength was unbelievable. She held onto the hilt with all her might, guarding it as if it were her very life. Unbelievable! Even like this, she still had so much strength. You started to get irritated and put a little more force into your grip. But in desperation, the girl suddenly bit down hard on your hand. You hissed and sucked in a breath from the pain, looking into her eyes full of defiance and killing intent. Suddenly, a thought popped into your head. Now this is a real mess. But it's also pretty interesting. You've had enough of this woman's ungrateful attitude. She bites you the second she opens her mouth. Even though she's not very strong, the insult stings a lot. You act before thinking. Everything is especially clear here in the woods. Her skin feels so smooth. The elasticity is shocking. It's so good that your mind goes blank for a moment. Honestly, she's not bad at all, just for that split second. You suddenly feel the biting force on your hand vanish completely. You easily pull your hand back. Looking down, you see a neat but shallow bite mark. She glares at you and fires back. "You little brat. I saved you and you still dare bite me? How unreasonable." You're really unreasonable. He's embarrassed and furious. That spot where you slapped him, the burning pain is even worse than the sword wound on his stomach. He, a dignified man, has actually ended up being bullied like this by a penniless scholar. But the next second you crack up. She suddenly closes her eyes and passes out again. Looks like she fainted from sheer anger. You look at her cold and beautiful face, feeling like the sensation from a moment ago is still lingering on your palm. Your heart itches. You quickly scan the surroundings, make sure no one is around, pick up the sword from the ground, and carry her in your arms. Then you walk out of the woods. Just at that moment, you hear a creaking noise nearby. You look up at the sound of a cart being pushed, and see Hughesy pushing the cart, looking at you in surprise. Changshan, who's this woman? Hughesy is totally stunned. He thinks, so that's why you were in such a hurry just now. All for this woman. Found her on the road. Thanks for your hard work, Hughesy. You're too lazy to explain. So you set the woman down on the cart, divide up what you bought, carry the bamboo basket yourself, and help Hughesy lighten the load a bit. The two of you head back to the village like this. As soon as you reach the village entrance, it's completely dark. Hughesy helps you push the cart into the yard. Hughesy, don't tell anyone about this woman. You hand him some rice and meat. Hughesy quickly waves his hands. Changshan, I definitely won't say a word. But I can't take this rice and meat. I haven't even finished what you gave me yesterday. This isn't hush money. You force it into his hands. You help me with the chores, so of course I'm going to feed you. Inside, Shen Hongtang and Shen Xiaowan hear the commotion and come outside as well. Hughesy says hello and then slips away. When Shen Xiaowan sees the woman on the cart, her fair little face is full of surprise. Brother-in-law, who's this lady? She's hurt. Shen Hongtang's keen eye immediately spots the bloodstains on the woman. Found her on the road. You have nothing to hide from them. If I didn't bring her back, she'd end up Volfood in the mountains tonight. You continue instructing them. Take everything from the cart to the kitchen and start cooking. Then you pick up the woman and carry her into the house. You lay her flat on the bed and quickly begin unbuttoning her top. The wound needs to be treated right away. You also need to check how badly she's hurt. Once you undo her clothes, a heavy air mixed with her faint scent gets mixed together and enters your nose. Now all she's wearing is a black undershirt, her white shoulders exposed to the air. She seems a little cold and unconsciously shrinks back. Her delicate arms stand out clearly, and on her flat stomach, a cut about half a finger long is shocking to see. It's like a crack in the snow. Blood is still seeping out. Shen Hongtang brings a basin of clean water. Seeing you don't need help, he heads back to the kitchen. You can only do some quick cleaning for her now. The wound needs to be disinfected before you can stitch it up. Otherwise, even if you sew it up, an infection could still kill her. The way they treat wounds here is way too rough. You know it needs to be disinfected, but they don't have the means for that. But you have a solution. The sorghum in the vat is already fermenting. In 2 days, you'll be able to distill high-proof liquor. The alcohol will be just right for disinfection then. Thinking of this, you get up and head to the kitchen, wanting to check how the sorghum is fermenting. The kitchen is as hot as a steam room. Shen Xiaowan and Shen Hongtang are staring blankly at the rice and meat you brought home. That big bag of rice could last them more than 10 days, let alone that huge piece of meat. Even wealthier families in the village have never seen meat bought like this. This is the life the two sisters dreamed of. Just being well-fed and clothed. Living in security, right? And now, because of you, that dream has actually come true. I'll go ask my brother-in-law how he wants to cook this. Shen Shaowan looks at the soy sauce, vinegar, and salt you bought, and joyfully turns around, only to bump right into you as you walk in. She gets a big scare. It's so hot that your head feels like it's buzzing. The kitchen isn't well ventilated to begin with. Plus you kept the fire going all day for fermentation. And now with this visual impact, you're feeling a little dizzy. I also bought some snacks and fabric and left them in the house. Later you two take them to Aunt Lee. Ask her to make you some new clothes. You walk up to the vat, lift the lid and check under the candlelight. Shen Shaowan happily answers, and immediately gets busy preparing dinner, while Shen Hongtang goes to check on the injured woman. The kitchen is just too hot. You're covered in sweat just after a short while. Shen Shaowan is the same. Her clothes are soaked through, clinging tightly to her back. It should be just about ready in another 2 days. You mutter to yourself, "Brother-in-law, what are you making in that vat?" Shen Shaowan asks curiously as she's stir-frying. You watch her move so skillfully, and can't help but smile. Making liquor, Shen Shaowan quickly finishes a dish, turns to put down the bowl, but you realize you've underestimated her. Before, it puzzled you this little girl never even had enough to eat before. Now you get it. There's nothing scientific about it. It's all just pure luck from the heavens. Brother-in-law Shen Shaowan turns around, gets scared and hurries over. You close your eyes, telling yourself you can't keep staring. If you keep looking, something bad will happen. Shen Shaowan takes out a handkerchief, tiptoes up, and gently wipes your sweat. Her voice is soft and sweet. You've been running around these days. You must be exhausted. It's all my fault for being useless, unable to help. It's nothing, just a little overheated. You give a wry smile but freeze up, feeling like you've turned into a puddle. Shen Shaowan's face turns bright red, and she just doesn't dare look at you. Her legs feel weak. She can barely stand. Just then, a sudden burnt smell from the pot fills the air. That snaps Shen Shaowan out of her daze. She breaks away from your arms in a flash, her face so red it could bleed. She frantically pours water into the pot. The noise from the pot brings her fully back to her senses. She lowers her head, cleaning the bottom of the pot, her mind a complete mess. What was I even thinking just now? That's my brother-in-law. You wipe your face too, secretly cursing. This was a terrible time for the pot to burn. You wipe your nose and walk gloomily out of the kitchen. The atmosphere at the dinner table is a little weird. Shen Shaowan keeps her head down eating, her face still red. Shaowan, why is your face so red? Are you running a fever? Shen Hongtang reaches out to feel. You're burning up. No, maybe it's just too hot in the kitchen. Shen Shaowan hurriedly shakes her head. You clear your throat to change the subject. Hongtang, Shaowan, you two go out in a bit. Go tell Ergu, Uncle Lin, and the other families. I want to hire people to catch rice borers. 1 coin per bug. If they're interested, they can just catch them tomorrow morning when they go to the fields. You need something to do, and it'll help out a few of the poor families in the village. After dinner, you glance at yourself, still unconscious on the bed, and head out first. All right. Before you go, you add, share the snacks among yourselves. Don't save any for me. I don't like sweets. After you leave, Shen, Hongtang, and Shen Shaowan stare at the boxes of pastries on the table. Their eyes go wide. They can't help but swallow. Sis, let's wait for brother-in-law to come home and eat together. Shen Shaowan whispers. You make a round through the village, hired a carpenter for a new cart and bed, bought a few bamboo baskets and 20 pounds of sorghum, planning to scale up your brewing. You're confident in your liquor. This is definitely a path to getting rich. After finishing your errands, you head home and go inside first. As soon as you enter, you see the ice-cold beauty you found on the mountain, struggling to sit up. Her teeth tightly clenched, her brows furrowed, her delicate, aloof face tensed with effort. When she sees you come in, her eyes immediately turn sharp. She angrily speaks up next. You shameless scoundrel! Can't you come up with any other insult besides scoundrel? Looking at her angry face, she's still breathtakingly beautiful, like a snow lotus with thorns. You can't help but laugh. Uncivilized street rascal. Jiang Yuli, thinking of the slap you gave her in the woods, it still faintly aches. She grits her teeth in frustration and instinctively reaches beside her, but grabs nothing. She glares at you coldly. Where's my sword? Tossed it, you answer offhandedly. Tossed it? Jiang Yuli is furious, which pulls at her abdominal wound. making her face go pale as snow. Listen, girl, I happen to be your lifesaver. You lift your eyebrows. If you're not going to marry me in gratitude, you should at least thank me, right? Just woke up and yelling at your savior like this. That really hurts. You step closer, looking at her with a leisurely smile. So I just smacked your pretty spot a little. You were about to draw your sword on me at the time. I was just defending myself. Besides, it's just a piece of meat. If you died on that mountain and been eaten by wolves, that piece of meat would have ended up in a monster's stomach anyway. Jiang Yuli is completely speechless at your twisted logic. She closes her eyes, feeling like she's fallen into the hands of a total scoundrel. She must have ridiculously bad luck. You almost want to laugh. Someone who nearly died is still putting on airs with you. Watching her cheeks flush with anger, her fine figure under her clothes rises and falls intensely. Your eyes boldly scan up and down her body. What are you looking at? She notices your gaze, and, enduring the pain, struggles to pull on her outer robe. Keep looking and I'll gouge your eyes out. Hey, danger is the last thing I'm afraid of. You're amused by her tough on the outside act. Might as well move closer, head almost burrowing into his chest. A faint, pleasant scent instantly envelops you. I just watched you come and dig. Jiang Yuli was completely stunned. He'd spent so many years wandering the world. No man ever dared get so close to her. Seeing your face practically pressed up to his chest, she got upset and reached out to grab your face. But in the next second, you caught her slender wrist with one move. You really dare to make a move. You widened your eyes, completely in disbelief. Unbelievable! How can you be so vicious? Jiang Yuli struggled desperately. But seriously injured, she's no match for you. You flipped her over and pinned her to the bed. Your eyes narrowed into crescents as you smiled. I don't care who you are outside, but in my place you better behave. Otherwise you raise your other hand, fingers spread apart, making a dragon claw pose. The meaning is obvious. Get away from me. Jiang Yuli tensed up, closed her eyes tightly. For once, a flash of panic appeared on her icy face. You decide to stop there. You never really planned to do anything to him. After all, you still have two sisters-in-law at home. You step aside, and seeing him behave at last, you nod in satisfaction. Right at that moment, Shen Hongtang and Shen Shaowan return. Seeing Jiang Yuli awake, both rush over out of concern. Sis, there's still food in the kitchen. I'll go bring it to you, Shen Shaowan says attentively. Jiang Yuli replies coldly, I'm not hungry. Just let them share the desserts among themselves. After a busy day, at night you still sleep on the floor, while Jiang Yuli is lying in bed. But she's more and more puzzled inside. This family looks like they have nothing. So poor you can hear the penny drop. How do they still have desserts to eat? He couldn't figure it out, so he just decides not to think about it anymore, planning to leave as soon as he's a bit better, and get out of this godforsaken place immediately. The next morning, after you finish your meal, you take Tiger and your two sisters-in-law to the field. On the way, villagers look at you strangely. The village is just this small. What happened at the entrance spread quickly. You handed out 2 taels of silver to Lu San at once yesterday. That was basically bombshell news. 2 taels of silver. Which family in the whole village can just fork out that much spare cash? They don't believe it, that you earn so much selling those so-called beauty bugs. They're pretty sure you gambled again and got lucky. You can't be bothered with all the gossip. Once in the field, Aunt Wang and Ergu were already there. Changsheng, is it really true? For every beauty bug we catch, you'll really give us 1 copper coin? Aunt Wang looks at you expectantly, afraid that you're joking. Of course it's true. You set the bamboo baskets down. Aunt Wang, Brother Ergu, just fill these baskets up. Cousin-in-law, same goes for you. Count how many you collect yourselves.
Hearing this,
Everyone's eyes lit up. Without another word, they all started digging intently. 100 catches means 100 coins. That's enough to pay their poll tax. Seeing how hard they're working, you smile, and then take Tiger to the river to catch crabs. You can only do so much for now, but you help however you can. The people with you have to at least get fed. After the crabs are caught, you pay right then and there. Aunt Wang and the others held the heavy copper coins. excitedly thanking you again and again. Come evening, you see the first batch of sorghum is about fermented. So you set up the big iron pot you bought from the county and start distilling. You go inside to treat Jiang Yuli's wound. Unwrap the bandage to check it. Seeing the wound, you walk up to his bed. His face is as pale as ice. I don't have to wait till I'm healed. I'll leave on my own. His voice is as cold as ice chips. I won't die in your house. I'm not kicking you out. You laugh at his words. Just checking if your wound got worse. I'll disinfect it after I'm done there, and then take care of it. Jiang Yuli looks bewildered, but still refuses. Man, it's really hard talking to you. You can't be bothered arguing, so you just do it yourself. Yank the blanket off with one move. Jiang Yuli is both embarrassed and angry, covering her front with her arms on reflex. Her clothes have been taken by Shen Shaowan to wash. Right now she's only wearing Shen Shaowan's underclothes. You? What's with you? You think there's anything worth looking at on you? You act like a seasoned doctor, but your eyes still roam over her. I'm just treating your wound. You think I want to take advantage of you? If this wound gets infected, you're dead. If you die in my house, villagers will think I did something to you. Jiang Yuli is left speechless by your retort. Her expression dims. I'll leave tonight. He knows his wound probably won't heal. Quit talking about leaving. I said I can cure you, so I can... Relax, I can keep you alive. You say yes. You unwrap the bandage from his wound. It's not like you have to save him. You're just curious to test your own distilled alcohol and see how well it works. It's the perfect chance for a guinea pig. Kind of pays him back for saving you. Seeing the clarity and sincerity in your eyes, Jiang Yuli becomes a little less guarded. When you're unwrapping the bandage, your fingers inevitably brush against his abdomen. The firm, warm skin. It feels shockingly good. Even the world's top doctors can't guarantee they'll heal a wound like this. Jiang Yuli stares at you, thinking you're just bragging. If I really get better, what do you want? You look up at the wound. Good thing. Any longer, and it would be too late. If you can heal me, you can ask anything. Jiang Yuli says casually. He absolutely doesn't believe it. Deal. You grin and point to the pillow on his side. Shaowan's underclothes are still way too loose on him. Jiang Yuli shyly covers her beautiful eyes. Sha, don't think just because you saved me that I won't put you in your place. Then come and try. You act like a total brat. A young lady shouting and fighting all day. No one will dare marry you. You're so bold. Why don't you give it a try? Jiang Yuli sneers. If that's really what you want, maybe I'll take the risk. You laugh out loud and turn to leave. I'll change your dressing in the morning. Just stepped out of the main room and go into the kitchen, wanting to check on the distillation process. The kitchen is filled with steam. A faint aroma of alcohol is already wafting through the air. You step inside, but accidentally kick a small wooden stool used for the fire. Looking down, you see several pieces of women's clothing scattered beside the stool. Instinctively, you pick up a linen outer coat, along with a small inner shirt and underpants. Just then, Shen Hongtang's voice comes from the inner room. Shaowan, is that you? You look toward the sound, and lock eyes with Shen Hongtang, who's bathing. Amid the swirling steam, a fair-skinned body is faintly visible. The only thing you can clearly see are those long, beautiful legs, shining through the mist. Before you can get a good look, the figure quickly sinks into the wooden tub. Get out, Shen Hongtang snaps back to herself. Her cheeks instantly turn bright red. Even her voice trembles. You instinctively try to touch your nose to hide your awkwardness. But as you lift your hand, sure enough you see Shen Hongtang's embarrassed and furious glare. As if she's looking at some kind of pervert. You force a dry laugh, pretending to forget, and place the clothes on the stool nearby. You dropped your clothes. I picked them up and put them here for you. After saying that, you hurriedly ran out. No matter how thick-skinned you are, just thinking about that scene makes you blush with embarrassment. Smelling someone's undergarments in front of your sister-in-law, though they really did smell pretty nice. As you're standing in the courtyard trying to compose yourself, two sneaky figures have already crept up outside your courtyard wall. Did that brat Li Changsheng notice us? Niu Ah asks in a low voice. So what if he did? Guomazi next to him spits disdainfully. A clueless kid can't cause any trouble. That coward Liu San is no match for me. Back in the day, I used to take people down.
He dropped to his knees and begged for mercy the second he saw me.
Guomazi smacks Niu on the back of the head. Cut the crap. You said Li Changsheng has plenty of money. If he's lying to me, you'll see what I'll do to you.
Don't worry, Mazi.
That kid handed out 2 taels of silver, without even blinking. There has to be more where that came from. Niu Ai says, grinning obsequiously. Enough talk. Start climbing the wall. Guomazi urges. You are still in the courtyard, thinking about how to deal with the clutter in the yard, when the gate suddenly gets pushed open. In the faint light coming from the kitchen, you see Nua and another limping guy holding a machete, quietly sneaking toward the main house. Your expression turns cold, but you stay silent. A moment later, you hear a loud crash, followed by the limping guy's arrogant shout, an arrogant roar. Then everything went quiet. When you rushed into the room, the fight was already over. Niua and that Bio guy had their throats slit, lying in a pool of blood. Another had a dagger stuck in his back, collapsed at the doorway. And on the bed, Jiang Yuli was coldly staring at the bodies on the floor, as if she had just crushed 2 ants. You felt a sudden chill in your heart. This woman's skills were faster than you'd ever imagined. You rushed out as soon as you heard noises. She had already taken out 2 people. Good thing you only mouthed it off back then, and never did anything to her. You quickly dragged the bodies into the yard, trying to figure out how to get rid of the evidence. Outside the yard, suddenly there was a commotion of footsteps and voices. Damn, your heart sank. You didn't expect someone to show up so soon. The yard gate was pushed open. Village Chief San Yugli came with a dozen villagers, holding torches, charging in with hose and carrying poles. When they saw the 2 corpses in the yard, everyone was stunned. Changshan, did you do this? San Yugui stared at you in shock. You hadn't had time to explain yet, when an excited voice burst out from the crowd. Heaven has eyes. Guomazi, that troublemaker, finally got what he deserved. A villager called Lao Lu was so excited he was shaking. Right after, the villagers erupted in cheers. Changshan, you really rid King Shui village of a menace. Well done, Changshan. That guy should have been taken out long ago. That's when you realized. Guomazi turned out to be a huge troublemaker in the village. He not only hurt people, but even forced out the previous village chief, who was San Yogui's father. You were dumbfounded. You never thought you'd randomly become the hero who saved the people. San Yugui was beyond grateful, bowing to you repeatedly. Changshan, thank you for avenging my family. You coughed twice, and just went along with it. After all, the bodies were found at your place, so you didn't bother to explain that it was that cold beauty who actually did it. Village chief, everyone. I think we shouldn't spread this around. San Yugui got the hint immediately. Changshan, don't worry. What happened tonight stays between us. We'll take care of the bodies. Lao Liu and the others quickly carried them away and found somewhere to bury them. One crisis was muddled into a golden opportunity for you to make a name for yourself. Early the next morning, you had stayed up all night and finally distilled your first batch of strong baijiu and medical alcohol. You took a sip. It's not as good as your past life's drinks, but it's dozens of times better than anything in this era. It's time for people here to taste what real quality liquor is. You split the liquor into 5 small jars, planning to give some to Luo Union to sample. But before that, you needed to treat Zhang Yueli's wound first. Bear with it a little. I'll disinfect you first. Then do the dressing. You brought a bowl of alcohol to the bedside. Zhang Yuli looked into the bowl, at the pungent-smelling liquid, her eyes full of doubt. Will this really keep my wounds safe? You'll know once you try. You grinned. It's going to hurt, so hang in there. The moment you finished speaking, you pressed the alcohol-soaked cloth directly to her wound. Jiang Yueli's whole body tensed in pain. She bit her lip hard, letting out a muffled, painful groan. Her pale, delicate feet, all 10 toes curled up, watching her dripping with sweat from the pain, but not making a sound. You couldn't help but admire her. If it hurts, just yell. No need to hold it in you worked faster. Disinfection, threading, and stitching all done swiftly. Though it was your first time, you used all that random stuff you picked up from short videos, and it really came in handy. When you finally finished treating her, you were drenched in sweat. All done, let's check again in 2 days. You slumped by the side of the bed and let out a long breath. Jiang Yuli still didn't believe it. How could there be such a miraculous way to heal in this world? After breakfast, you took those 5 jars of liquor and huzi and headed straight for the county's Gayu restaurant. Just as you reached the front of Mingyu Tavern, you saw a helper from Gayu restaurant getting pushed and shoved out. Go, go, go. Even people from Gayu still come here to buy our liquor. Isn't that right? You stepped up to ask and finally learned. Turns out Mingyu Tavern bought up all the Qingquan liquor in town, leaving none for anyone else. Obviously out to mess with Gayu restaurant. And today, Gayu just happens to have a VIP guest arriving specifically for Qingquan. The attendant was frantic like a cat on a hot tin roof and walked back dejectedly. You glance at him and at the 5 jars in your hands. A slight smile curled your lips. Sometimes timing really is everything. You followed the attendant back inside Gayu restaurant and immediately saw that chubby guy named Huang Weinan. He was sitting in the main hall, looking smug like a winner, deliberately sipping Qingquan liquor, showing off to Luo Union with every sip. Clearly here to cause trouble. Shopkeeper Luo, I've always said, business should be shared by everyone. Huang Weinan grinned from ear to ear, looking at a worried Luo Union. See now. We at Mingyu not only have fresh crab, but also the good liquor your Gayu doesn't. Fortunes change, you know. Now it's our Mingyu's turn. Luo Union frowned, brows tightly knitted, in utter anxiety. But she couldn't do anything about him. Then, at that moment, Huang Weinan noticed you too. Well, isn't this Li Xiandi? He looked at you, clearly upset. Perfect timing. That crab recipe of yours, Mingyu has already mastered it. I told you before. You'd better wait and see. Now, Gayu restaurant's days are numbered. Who are you going to sell your crabs to now? Aren't you something? A perfectly fine Gayu restaurant. And just like that, you're calling it quits. You raised your eyebrow at him. Huang Weinan acted like he heard the funniest thing ever. If you don't believe me, ask shopkeeper Luo. How long can their Gayu keep going? I'm telling you. In Qinyuan County, a poor scholar like you wants to challenge me. You're still too inexperienced. You couldn't be bothered to talk nonsense with him. Instead, you spoke straight to the worried Luo Union. No need to worry, shopkeeper Luo. I've got some fine liquor right here. You told Huzi to bring the jars over. Luo Union's eyes lit up, thinking you'd managed to buy Qingquan. She was just about to thank you, when Huang Weinan snorted. Those shabby jars? You really call that Qingquan? Shopkeeper Luo, don't let this kid fool you. The smile faded from Luo Union's face instantly, but she still thanked you. Who said this was Qingquan? You shot Wang Weinan a quick glance. You watched Luo Union begin to promote her own wine. Manager Luo, I stake my life on this. My wine is dozens of times better than Qingquan. If you don't believe me, try it right now. Huang Weinan burst into loud laughter. He pointed at you and shouted to all the guests. Ladies and gentlemen, this guy claims the wine he has is dozens of times better than Qingquan. The whole hall burst into uproarious laughter. You stared coldly at Huang Weinan. If my wine is truly better than Qingquan, what will you do? But if I lose, I'll bow and apologize to you in front of everyone. Not enough, you say with a sly smile, shaking your head. From now on, whenever you see me, you have to greet me respectfully as master. Huang Weinan agreed without a second thought. His eyes turned vicious. Then, if your wine isn't better than Qingquan, you'll have to crawl out of here. Deal, you replied calmly. Right at that moment, a server ran down from upstairs and said, the distinguished guest in the private room is getting impatient. Luo Union had no choice left. She could only pin her hopes on you. You didn't hesitate anymore. In front of everyone, you suddenly broke open the wine jar's seal. Instantly, a rich, overwhelming aroma exploded like a bomb. It blasted through the entire restaurant. The domineering scent even overpowered the aroma of all the food inside. The customers who were just watching all froze. Then, as if under a spell, each person couldn't help but stand up, inhaling deeply, with looks of disbelief on their faces. It smells incredible. I've never smelled wine this fragrant in my whole life. Just the aroma makes me feel drunk. Great wine. This is truly a rare treasure. Luo Yunyan was stunned too. She covered her slightly parted lips with her delicate hand. Her beautiful eyes sparkled with excitement. He'd been in the restaurant business for years, and he knew at once this wine was far superior to Qingquan. Young Master Li, what's the name of this wine? He asked delightedly. Chongjiang Yu made up a name casually. By now Huang Wanan's face was ashen. He was completely dumbfounded. He knew full well how amazing this wine was. But he never dreamed that a penniless scholar could produce such an extraordinary brew. So what if it smells good? Maybe he's using some kind of trick. Huang Wanan was still stubborn. Don't worry, I'll make you happily admit defeat. Yu gave a slight smile and said loudly to the crowd, everyone, whoever wants to try it, come get a cup. No sooner had the words left your mouth, a group of customers went wild and surged over with their glasses in hand. You poured a little for each person, then placed the nearly empty wine jar heavily on the table in front of Huang Wanan. If you want to taste it, pour it yourself. Voices of praise erupted all around. Rich and mellow on the palate. The aftertaste lingers on and on. Great wine, truly refreshing. Now that's the kind of wine real men should drink. But after Huang Wanan took his first sip, he was completely petrified. His mind was filled with just two words, amazing wine. Young master, where did you buy this wine? Everyone crowded around you, asking excitedly. It's not for sale, you said indifferently. I made it myself. The entire hall went dead silent. Even Luo Yunyan's gaze froze on you. He stared at you in disbelief. He can actually make wine too? You ignored everyone's shock and looked at Huang Wanan with a cheerful smile. Manager Fang, how do you rate this wine? Huang Wanan's voice was hoarse and dry, like he was using all his strength. So what do you call me now? Huang Wanan's face instantly turned purple with embarrassment. Under the mocking gaze of everyone present, he gritted his teeth and squeezed out the words through his teeth. Master. Before he even finished, he immediately put on a sycophantic smile. Young Master Leo, no. Master Li, I failed to recognize your greatness earlier. May I ask if our Mingyu restaurant could? Before you could respond, Huang Wan's arm was grabbed by a soft, warm, delicate hand. Young Master Li, please go rest in the private room. Today I'll be your host for lunch. Before you could protest, Luo Yunyan dragged you off to the private room. His heart was pounding fast. You could even feel the heat from his palm through your sleeve. He knew very well what Chongjiang meant. If crabs only kept Geulu afloat, then this wine is the rocket that'll send it soaring. If she could secure exclusive rights to sell this wine, Geulu would become unmatched in Qingyuan County. A fortune was within reach. Once inside the private room, Luo Yunyan finally realized she'd lost her composure. She quickly let go of your hand, her lovely face blushing slightly. Young Master Li, we at Geulu want as much of this wine as you can provide. She got straight to the point. Manager Luo, you want an exclusive deal with me? You asked with a smile. Although she didn't know what exclusive meant, after you explained it, she immediately understood. Her eyes shone even brighter. That's right, I'm hoping for exactly that. But an exclusive deal doesn't come cheap. You grinned. Young Master Li, just name your price. Luo Yunyan was bold and confident at this moment. But let me deliver the wine to the upstairs guests first, then we can discuss the details. You nodded in agreement. Soon after, thunderous applause erupted from upstairs. Excellent, truly excellent wine. This is the finest brew I've ever tasted in my life. Huang Wanan's chubby face turned completely ashen.
He knew Gayulu would not only survive,
but would rise to great heights with Chongjiang. No matter what, he had to get his hands on this wine. He got up in a hurry and left Geulu in disgrace. Very soon, Luo Yunyan returned to the private room beaming. Her phoenix eyes sparkled with excitement. Sorry to keep you waiting, young Master Li. She smiled. So what are your thoughts, young Master Li? Exclusive rights. No problem. You held up 3 fingers. I want 30% of your wine sales profits, and you buy at 10 taels of silver per gin. Deal. Luo Union agreed without hesitation. He understood. Compared to the huge profits Chongjiang would bring, this was nothing. You both quickly signed a 1-year contract. Of the jars of wine you brought, Luo Union paid you 20 taels of silver on the spot. 20 taels! This was the first real money you made in this world. Young Master Li, I wish us a fruitful partnership. Luo Union personally poured you and herself each a drink. Her smile bloomed like a flower. You watched as she raised her glass, intending to finish it in one shot. You quickly reminded Manager Luo, this wine is strong. Before you even finished, with a loud theft, Luo Union sprayed the wine all over your face and choked hard. Her face instantly turned bright red. Her chest heaved violently. You closed your eyes, wiped the wine off your face. Sorry, young Master Li. Luo Union was so embarrassed she wished she could disappear. She quickly stood up, walked over with a handkerchief, bent down and carefully wiped you clean. After leaving Jiyu brothel, you carried 20 taels of silver in your pocket, feeling like you were floating. You headed straight to the market, spent 2 taels to buy a horse and a carriage. In this era, owning a horse is a real luxury. With it, delivering goods will be much easier. You also bought a pound of meat. For Shen Hongtang and Shen Shaowan, you bought each a beautiful hairpin. Only then did you happily drive the carriage back to the village. But just as you reached the village entrance, you saw a donkey cart parked at your front door. No one in the village can afford a donkey. Your heart skipped a beat. A bad feeling welled up inside you. As soon as you entered the yard, you heard a sharp female voice. Even the Song Butcher's family can afford a donkey. That's the best conditions around for Miles. Only downside is he's a bit older. A garishly dressed matchmaker was speaking loudly and animatedly, boasting to Shen Hongtang and Shen Shaowan. I'm really doing this for your own good. Just think about it. Would you rather live well with the Song Butcher, or be unable to afford the head tax and get sent to corvée labor? Shen Hongtang and Shen Shaowan turned pale at her words. They lowered their heads and stayed silent. You glared at the matchmaker. Your gaze instantly turned cold. You parked the carriage and strode into the courtyard, carrying the composure of someone just back from the county town, with the confidence of having 20 taels of silver and the pride of succeeding at winemaking, all shining in your eyes. The matchmaker turned and saw you, looking stunned for a moment, then quickly forced a fake smile. Isn't this Chang Shen? I was just arranging a good match for Hongtang and Shaowan. Song Butcher's family has money and food, looking for the right 2 girls. That's not necessary, you cut her off coldly. Your voice wasn't loud, but it made the whole yard go quiet. You stepped in front of Shen Hongtang and Shen Shaowan, gently shielding them behind you. You glanced at the matchmaker, each word clear and firm. I protect my own family myself. I've already paid the head tax in full. From now on, they'll live well. No need for anyone else to worry. As you spoke, you took out 2 delicate hairpins from your pocket and handed them to the sisters one by one. Shen Shaowan held the hairpin. Her eyes suddenly grew hot, tears welling up. Shen Hongtang clenched her hairpin, her fingertips trembling slightly. At last, real warmth appeared in her usually cool eyes. You turned to the matchmaker, your tone a few degrees colder. Don't ever come to my house again. Li Chansheng's sister-in-law isn't getting married off. Everyone here will just follow me to live a good life. Your presence intimidated the matchmaker, and she awkwardly fell silent. She hurried off, driving her donkey cart away in embarrassment. With everyone gone, the yard was peaceful again. Jiang Yuli leaned against the doorframe, a rare, faint smile appearing on her usually cold face. Well, at least you acted responsibly. You turned around to look at her, raising your brows slightly. Your injury is almost healed. So when do you plan to leave? Jiang Yuli gave you a sidelong glance, the tips of her ears quietly turning red. I owe you my life, and for taking care of my wounds. Until I pay you back, I'm not leaving. Shen Shaowan clutched her hairpin, tears in her eyes but spoke firmly. Brother-in-law will always stay by your side. Shen Hongtang nodded softly too, her gentle gaze resting on you. As the sun set in the west, golden rays filled the little courtyard. Grain, cloth, and new furniture sat quietly on the wagon. The fragrance of freshly distilled Chongzheng wine filled the air. You looked at the three people before you, at this home that finally felt alive and warm. A calm, contented smile formed at the corner of your lips. Traveled through time, from a hopeless gambler to the rock of the family, from having nothing to being surrounded by loved ones, from selling crabs to survive to brewing famous Chongzheng wine. In the days to come, there will be fields to farm, fine wine to craft, and family by your side. This is the best home in the world. A gentle breeze brushed past, candlelight flickered, and the warmth in the little courtyard would never fade again.